So here's a short story about a guy who recently discovered that his girlfriend is in no way, shape, or form the girl he thought he was. You're going to see that he was on her computer when she went out of town. She was allowing him to use it, and some things popped up, and that one thing led to another, and he found out that she used to be the town bicycle, or more appropriately, an absolute CUM dumpster. No joke here. And naturally, is a bit appalled by this, and now is thinking about ending things. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, making the point once again that you need to do your homework on your girl before you get in a relationship with her. There are plenty of gals out there will engage in all sorts of activities, if you will, and keep it secret and settle with a nice guy, the type of guy that, that will propose to them and be a good husband, all that, and act like that was their past. But the reality is they're just settling for a nice guy, and probably down the road, they'll go right back to their activities. You need to do your homework because a lot of these types won't say anything. And you have every right, guys, to walk away if you find something about your girl that you don't like. Because we all know darn well they will get rid of us in a heartbeat over the littlest thing. Titled, I, a 28-year-old male, accidentally found my girlfriend's old SCXTSs, and I'm devastated. Help. And a shout out to Bo for sending the story. It says, I'm going to cut to the chase. My girl is out of town and let me use her computer for a small project that I'm working on as my laptop has had issues recently. When I downloaded a few photos and went to put them into an album, I noticed thumbnails of around 100 text screenshots or so dated mid-2021 before we even knew each other. Against my better judgment, I got nosy and decided to take a peek. Oh, by the way, guys, part of the story isn't that the women yelling at him in the comment section for looking. So she allows him to use her computer. He had to download some pictures, then saw a bunch of things that looked really suspicious. Well, I have no problem with him looking because nowadays you have to because, well, given the world we're in. Well, they end up being incredibly explicit text conversations, as well as some photos and videos between her and 3 different guys. Not the greatest thing to find out your significant other, but we didn't know each other, so I can't blame her for anything. You can blame her for not telling you about what you're all about to hear. That's called lying by omission. If I remember correctly, that's when she last got her new phone. So I'm assuming she wanted backups of all of it for her personal collection. Again, not great, but she was single and had been for a while. If these had just been some typical single-person sex stuff, I would have left it as is and gone about my business. It's the content of the texts, photos, and videos that are eating me alive. Now, listen to this. I want to preface this by saying that we have never spoken about our past sex lives, and I've never cared to know. Smack! Well, you gotta inquire about these things nowadays. She doesn't owe me any of this information, so I don't feel betrayed like that in the slightest. Smack! Yes, she does owe you to tell you things because, believe me, what he finds out, he's appalled by. We have a good SCX life 3 to 5 times a week. She often initiates. We're decently kinky, and I got nothing but compliments from her. Well, after what you're about to hear, guys, clearly she's doing this to rope him in. But in the text were mentioned pictures and videos of 3-ways and even foursomes between one of these guys and 2 of his guy friends. She referred to herself as their fuck toy, and it's clear that these were a relatively regular occurrence. He's seen pictures and videos and texts describing 3-ways and sometimes 4-ways, and they call her their fuck toy. Yeah, no guy wants their girlfriend to be known as that in the past, or a wife. There's a reason she hasn't told this guy, and he has a right to know. There's lots of dirty talk of their lack of condom usage and letting them come everywhere. What did I just say about the cum dumpster? Nasty. And he has to see the pictures of these dudes. She let this group of guys do things we have not done together, even though I have asked for a couple. Nightmare material to read about your woman you love, but somehow it's worse. Notice he said that about they're doing stuff to her that she wouldn't allow him to do. Now, there are women out there that would say, well, she's allowed to do whatever she wants. And you know what? We all have the freedom to do what we want in that regard and to say no. But here's the thing. When you're with somebody you think you have a good thing going and find out with just some scumbag she was doing this, and that back in the day, you got reason to take issue with that. And that's usually how it works. Her past experiences are her business, I suppose, but the common denominator is her constant mention and admiration for those guys' giant you-know-whats. In her exact words, she called all these guys massive and said she felt full and stretched. And even told the most recent one in a text, "I love your big you-know-what so much that you made me never want to go back to anything less." She has a major kink for really big you-know-whats back then. Well, you know what? Most guys have a thing for big boobs and stuff like that. But the thing is, that's not going to inhibit our performance. Let's just say when a gal has enough very, very large Chad and Tyrones in her, for average size guys, just average size, not below average, it's like throwing a hot dog down the hallway here. It's like, am I in? No thanks. This is nasty. I'm slightly below average, below the belt, and since I unfortunately saw pictures of these guys, I can honestly say the guys are true 99th percentile types. Literal nightmare material that I couldn't have imagined if I wanted to. So I guess I'm here because I don't know what to do. Smack! What do you mean you don't know what to do? How are you going to move on from this? And she kept that from me on purpose. We have a great relationship, and she's never cheated. Famous last words. But I just never seen this side of her. I never expected to. I love to be able to forget all this and never mention it to her, but I don't know how I can get past this in this way. I never felt more insecure in my life, and I can't believe this has happened to me. Any advice is appreciated, LOL. Dude, well, this has happened to a lot of guys, unfortunately, but you're never going to get past this, ever. And putting that aside for a moment, what you observed, you ain't going to forget that either. You were going to think about that all the time with her. And there are a lot of women out there, and man-bun guys are going to say it makes you insecure. No. Nobody wants their girlfriend, potential wife material, and she ain't, by the way, to be the freaking cum dumpster for Chad, Tyrone, and their two buddies, Julio and, I don't know, pick another name. Anyhow, that's nasty, and there's a reason she didn't tell you. Now, obviously, that's typically not first date conversation, but you get my point. You got to be open, and that just doesn't happen anymore. Believe me, if this guy engaged in things that might make her a bit unhappy, she'd be unhappy if she found out about this later on down the road or on his freaking computer. So he's never going to get past this, and frankly, he needs to end it with her and move on. And notice, again, how he said that she was doing things with them, she wouldn't do it with him. And again, she's allowed to not want to do certain things. That's her right. But he has the right to say, oh, we have a great thing going. You claim you love me, but clearly you were loving those guys, Chad, Tyrone, Julio, and their other friend there, in a whole different way. And I'm not getting this, and this. Yeah, I can tell. And the fact that she hid this from him. No guy wants this. And by the way, gals that really into that type of stuff, do you think they can just turn it off like that and never do it again? Bullshit. I can't think the pair bonding thing, that's gone. That's bye-bye. And science has proven that. So he needs to really think things through, look at the big picture, and move the hell on. Now, I'm going to read a few comments here, and two are from women shaming him for, God forbid, having the feelings that he does, because that's what they do, because they want guys to just put up with this shit, and one guy giving him reality. This first one from a woman, she says, "Ugh, this is disgusting. You, not her. You snooped. You found out shit you don't like. The situation is entirely your fault." Really, honey? Well, how about the fault of the girl who didn't tell him this stuff and led him to believe that this is not who she was? I suppose you can go to therapy ASAP to get grips with your feelings, but if you tell her everything you've written here, she'll never trust you again, and you put her in a position of having to defend herself concerning things that are none of your business. Position, huh? Well, she was in a lot of positions with Chad, Tyrone, and Julio and their other friend. This is his business. And a lot of women think it's not the guy's business. Her past is his business because she's now in his life, and he mentioned that they don't use condoms a lot. What if she caught something? And how humiliating this is for him this ever got out. And you can't tell me these types didn't upload things online to the internet, and just no guy wants that as their girlfriend or wife. She's free to do what she wants. Don't get me wrong, we have that freedom. But this guy should have the freedom of choice to say, no, thank you. Here's another one. This is from a woman. She says, "Hey, look at that. You hurt your own feelings. Nothing happened to you. You snooped, and once you saw what those were, you should have stopped reading. But you didn't. So stop this victim shit, calling it a nightmare, etc. You had every opportunity not to snoop and not to keep reading. You did this, and it's not for her to comfort you about. She was allowed to have a life before you. If there's some moral issue, then maybe she's not the gal for you. She's definitely not the gal for him, or any guy. Any guy that wants a relationship, she ain't the gal for. But what you're not going to do is act like someone has wronged you. You did this, you need to handle your feelings and own what you did. Well, he can own it. Hey, I was using your computer and I downloaded something and I saw those things, and she hid this from him. She also says, my God, I see one more post about a man feeling owed something in bed because a woman did it with someone in the past. I'm going to run my car into a lamppost. You aren't owed anything. She was allowed to do something and is not allowed to not want to do that thing again. People's preferences change. You aren't being cheated or slighted. Stop. See? That's my point. Don't make excuses because you want to bet these two gals, they themselves have quite the past and don't want to do anything to, change the situation where a guy might dump them. And last one, this is from a guy speaking reality. He says, bro, this is coming from someone who recently broke up with a girl because of her past. If you stay with her, it will eat you alive. The fact that you're writing online for others' advice means you already know what you're wanting to do, but you're looking for outside validation. It's going to suck, I know, but breaking up with her is the best for both of you. Thank you. The whole section is full of women giving him shit. So guys, we all know darn well that the gals will break up with us over nothing. This is not nothing. She deliberately hid this from him. Do you really think he would have gotten in a relationship with her and stayed with her if she told him about all these details? I think not. But they know darn well that no guy that's actually marriage material would want to be with somebody like this, so they keep it quiet, hoping it never comes out. But these things always come out, some way, somehow. And notice that she had to keep a record of this stuff. Tuck it away so she can look back to the good times from time to time. Some people might say, well, maybe she forgot. When she got a new computer or a new phone or whatever it was, you go there and they transfer all the old shit to your new one and stuff like that. I still find it hard to believe. So he has a right to end it with her. And remember, guys, nowadays you need to hire a fucking private investigator every time you get a new relationship. Be careful.